Good day everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, part of my Azure Databricks series, I will take you through a detailed step-by-step walkthrough of how to securely integrate a Databricks model serving endpoint with Power BI, even when your Databricks workspace is logged down with Allow Public Network Access disabled. This is a scenario many enterprises face where direct calls from Power Automate to Databricks gets blocked with a 403 unauthorized network access error due to network restrictions. To solve this, I will show you how I leverage logic apps which can connect into the Databricks virtual network via peering or a dedicated subnet. I will demonstrate how this architecture allows secure communication between Power BI, Power Automate, Logic Apps, and Databricks Model Serving. I have utilized Power BI, Power Automate, Logic Apps, and Azure Databricks Serving Model. It's important to note that any direct call from Power Automate to Databricks fails with a 403 unauthorized network access to workspace error as connections are rejected due to Databricks network restrictions. To overcome this limitation, I have leveraged Logic Apps which can be integrated with the Databricks virtual network either through a new subnet or via a dedicated virtual network that was paired with the Databricks virtual network. If you're working in a secure enterprise environment and want to integrate real-time machine learning predictions into Power BI dashboards, this video is definitely for you. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you won't miss any of my future videos on Azure Databricks and Cloud Data Solutions. Let's dive in. Let's look at the Azure Databricks workspace. Yeah. So now if you look at the networking setting here for this particular workspace, you can see that this option, which is deploy Azure Databricks workspace with secure cluster connectivity. There is no public IP is enabled. And the most important thing is like the allow public network access is disabled, and then require NSG rules. It is set to no Azure Databricks rules. Yeah. Now what I'll do is like let's click on this launch workspace, and if you see here, I'm not even able to access my workspace. I'm basically trying to access my workspace from my laptop, and I'm basically getting this error. So in order to solve this problem, what I've done is like I'm basically using this particular VM machine, which is basically using the subnet that is part of my Azure Databricks virtual network. Yeah, either you can do that, or what you can do is like you can create a dedicated VNet, and you can create your virtual machine onto the subnet that is present on that dedicated virtual network, and then you can pair this virtual network with the Azure Databricks virtual network. Now, if you see my workspace here, yeah, so we have the workspace here, and then when you look at the networking setting, it is just same as what I've showed you before, yeah. And then now, if you look at my workspace, yeah, I've just logged into it, and if you see here, what I'm basically going to do in this particular video is like I'm going to basically integrate this particular serving endpoint into the Power BI, yeah. And once I'm done with that, what I'll do is like I will be sending the inputs across and then getting the predictions back, yeah. But the problem right now is like there is no way directly I'll be able to integrate this particular serving endpoint into the Power BI, and for that reason what I'm basically doing is like I'll be utilizing the Power BI, and then I'll be having a Power Automate option there, and the Power Automate will basically access my Logic Apps, and then this Logic Apps would definitely be working with my Databricks model serving, and then it will get the predictions back, and then we can have a look on it. Let's create our Logic app and then configure it accordingly. Yep, let's search for it and then click on Logic Apps and then click on Add here. What I'll do is like I will select this particular thing because I need VNet integration. So I will use Workflow Service Plan. Click on Select. And then what I'll do is like let me provide the resource group name because I'm going to create a new one. Okay. And then what I'll do is like let me fill up other things and then let you guys know. I've named my logic app as JB Bank Logic App. Region is West US 2, and the Windows plan is like this one, and then the pricing plan is like I'm using this workflow standard WS1, which has got like 210 total ACU, 3.5 GB memory, and one CPU. Yeah, so zone redundancy, I will set it to disabled. Let's click on storage. I will leave these things default here, yeah, and then click on networking. This is something very important, yeah. So enable public access, I will set it to off, and then we have this option for enable virtual network integration. I'm going to turn it on, okay. And then you need to select your virtual network. What I'll do is like I will select my Databricks virtual network. Yeah, in my case, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to select my Databricks virtual network because I have a subnet there created exclusively for this logic app. But in your case, if you want to create a dedicated virtual network for the logic app, you can go ahead and do that. But the only thing is like you need to peer that virtual network with the Databricks virtual network. Yeah. So in my case, I will use the existing virtual network that is used by the Databricks. I will enable the private endpoint here for the inbound access. Okay, let me name this private endpoint as JB private endpoint, JB Bank Logic App to Databricks. So this is my private endpoint name, and then the inbound subnet would be I would select this JB Logic App. Okay, let's enable the VNet integration for the outbound access. I will select this particular subnet, yeah, and then for add private endpoint, let's click on, and then what we'll do is like we will give this name here, yep, and then let's select the required subnet, yeah. So I've selected that. Let's next monitoring. So I'm not going to enable the application insights. If it is going to be production, I would recommend you to do that. But since it's a demo, I'm not going to enable that. Let's click on review and create. Okay, so let's create it. Let's wait for the deployment to complete and then we will take it from there. The deployment is in progress. Let's wait for it to complete and then we'll take it from there. Logic app resource is created now. Let's go to the resource. Let's click on the workflows here and then click on add and then to add here. I will use this agent preview. Yeah, let's click on that. Then let's give it a name. Let me give it a name as JB Bank underscore logic app. Yeah, this is my workflow name. Let's click on create. Okay, so it's created now. Now, if you see here, we have this one. Let's click on it. And then we are on the designer right now. Yeah. So what I'll do is like I will just have the trigger, but I will delete everything else. Okay, so the trigger is here. So the first one that I'm going to do is like I'm going to use a request here. Yeah. Select this when a HTTP request is received. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is like as soon as I provide the required details, the first one would be this request body. Yeah, I will paste this one. I will include all these things in my blog and then I will give the link in the video description so you can look at it. Yeah, this is something required for calling my Databricks serving model. So I've provided that. Based on your model, you need to select it. But in case if you're going to follow through all my instructions, then you can use this one. Yeah. So now what will happen is like right now you don't see a HTTP URL. Yeah. But as soon as I click on save, what will happen is like you will see an HTTP URL, and basically what we'll do is like we will use that HTTP URL to trigger this particular workflow. Yeah, and I will use this HTTP URL. Once I save it, I will see that, and I will use that in the Power Automate. Yeah, so I will wait for it. I'm not going to click on save right now. Let's click on this add an action, and then let's check this HTTP, okay? And then I will use this HTTP information here. Now, if you go to the serving endpoint here, yeah, so you have the URL here. So copy that, and then you need to provide that under the URL here, okay? And the method would be post here, yeah. And then as far as the headers is concerned, the first one would be the authorization. So here we need to provide the access token for your Azure Databricks. If you want instruction how to do that, I would recommend you to look at my previous videos where I have generated the access tokens. So once you have the access token created, what you need to do is like you need to provide that information here. Yeah. One thing to keep in mind is like before the access token, you need to type this keyword bearer space and then the access token. Yeah, and once these things are provided, the next one would be the next header would be your content type. Yeah, and the content type would be application slash JSON. Yeah. So you need to provide this one here. Just make sure like you don't have any spaces. Yeah. And once you have provided the required headers, the next thing that you need to do is like you need to give the body. This acts as your input, and that will be like posted across to your Databricks serving endpoint, and then you will get the predictions back. Yeah. So you need to paste the required body. In my case, this is the input that I'm going to give: the date, open price, high price, low price, and close price. Once these things are sent across to my Databricks serving model, I will get a prediction. Yeah. So now what I'll do is like next I will create an terminate action. Yeah. So let's search for terminate. Yep, I have the terminate. I'm just using this terminate to make sure like I'm closing this successfully in case everything goes fine. Okay. Now what I'll do is like let's click on save here. Yep, and let's wait for the workflow to get saved. Now it is saved. So now what I'm going to do is like let's click on this request here, and then if you see here, as soon as I clicked on save, we are able to see the HTTP URL. Yeah, so you need to copy that. Yeah, and then you need to place it in a safer location. What I'll do is like I will put that in a notepad here. Yep, and I will use that in my Power Automate. Now what we'll do is like let's open the Power BI desktop, and then we will do the required configuration. Let's click on the blank report here. Yep. Once that is done, what we'll do is like we will use this Power Automate for Power BI. Yeah, we have it here. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to click on edit here, and then what we'll do is like let's create a new app here. Yeah. So let's use the instant cloud flow. Yeah. And then what we'll do is like let me name this as JB Bank underscore logic app underscore July 2025. So this is the name that I've given. So the first one is basically your Power BI button clicked. When you click on the button there in the Power BI, this gets activated, and then this particular workflow will start. Yeah. So now let's click on new step here. and then let's search for HTTP. Okay, so HTTP is here. So now let's select the HTTP, and then we know that the method is going to be post, yeah. And then what we'll do is like we will use the URI that we copied in our previous step, yeah, from the logic app. When we save this URI from there, we will use that one, and then we will put it here. Yep, so we have put the required URI here, and then let's scroll down, and then what we'll do is like we will put the body here. Again, I will include all these body in my blog, and then I'll provide the link in the YouTube video description. And the header, we will basically have to use, will not require an authorization because it's going to directly call our logic app, yeah. But as far as the header is concerned, we will have to use this content type, yeah, and it will be like application slash JSON, yeah. So let's put that, and then what we'll do is like let's save it. Yep, it's saved. Now I will do a save and apply. Okay, it's all done. So what I'll do is like I will go back to the report. So now what will happen is like we have this button created, yeah. What we did is like we basically use this Power Automate for Power BI, and now what will happen is like when I click on this run flow, what it will do is like it will basically execute our Power Automate, and then the Power Automate will basically call our logic apps, and the logic apps will basically call our Databricks serving endpoint and then get the predictions back. Yeah. So how does it work now? As soon as I click on that, we have it captured in the Power Automate when the click is done, and then we have the HTTP request, which basically calls the URL from that was created in our logic apps, and that gets posted. And as soon as it gets posted, what will happen is like logic app will understand that because we have a request there that will check for the details of that particular URL. And once it gets that, what it basically do is like it will call the next step, which is basically an HTTP request to our Databricks endpoint, and the body, the input that we have given will be used, and then the model will be like used, and then we will get the prediction back. Now what I'll do is like let's click on this run flow. Yeah, it basically tells like it is triggering. It's triggered now, so let's click on this and then click on edit, and then let's see what happened to this particular job. Yeah, so this is the one that we created. Let's click on that. Then if you scroll here, it basically tells like it's failed. Yeah, so what I'll do now, let's click on that and then see what is the error. So the HTTP step has basically failed. Now if I look at the error, it basically tells me status code is 403, and what is the error message? It basically tells like error 403 forbidden. The web app you have attempted to reach has blocked your access. So this 403 error is there. So now what we'll do is like let's head back to our logic app. Okay, so we have the logic app here. So now what I'm going to do is like let's go to the logic app here, and then let's look for the networking. Yeah. And on the networking, if you can see here, the public network access is disabled. That means like none of the services, including your Power Automate, will be able to reach out to the logic app. So let's click on this public network access disabled. Yeah. And then what I'll do is like let's click on this enabled from select virtual networks and IP address. Yeah. And then what we'll do is like we will add the service tag for your Power Automate. We will select this type here and then select the service tag. Yeah, and the service tag that I will be interested would be Power Platform Plex. That's the first one. Yeah. If you are aware of the region, then you can select the appropriate region, but I'm selecting this Power Platform Plex directly. Yeah. On production, I would recommend you to use the region exactly. That would be a little better. Yeah. So now I'm naming it as allow Power Platform Plex, and priority would be like 100. Yep. And the service tag used is Power Platform Plex. Let's click on add rule. Okay, it is added now. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to add one more. This time the priority would be 200. Yeah. And then again, it will be a service tag as far as the type is concerned. And the service tag would be, I will use Power Platform Infra. Yeah, that's going to be the one. Again, if you're aware of the location, you can select that. I'm going to select this Power Platform Infra. Yeah, and the name would be allow Power Platform Infra. And then let's click on add rule. It's added as well. Let's click on add one more time. So next thing that I'm going to add is like the Azure connectors. Let me add that one as well. You sure? Yes. Yep. Again, the priority would be like 300, and then the type is going to be service tag, and the service tag would be Azure connectors. Yep. Again, if you want to add the exact location, go ahead and do that. Wherever your Power Automate is present, you can add that directly. Yeah. Let's click on add rule. Okay. So if you see here, what we have done is like we have added Power Platform Plex, Power Platform Infra, and then the Azure connectors. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is like now that this is added, I'm going to go back to my Power BI report. If you want, you can change this run flow to something else as well. Yeah. So the button text right now it is run flow. Maybe I will put it as click me. Yeah. You can put that on as well. And then let's try invoking this. Now it is showing as triggered. Let's click on this edit, yeah. Yep. And go inside our Power Automate app. And if you look at it here, just 13 seconds ago, it has succeeded. Yeah. So now click on that. And then you will be able to see that each of these steps have succeeded fine. And this time, if you look at, we no longer get this 403 errors. Instead, we are seeing a status code of 202, which basically means like it has succeeded. Yeah. So now what we'll do is like, let's look at the logic apps and see if the workflow is triggered there. Yeah. So now, just to keep in mind, after you add each of these rules, it is necessary that you click on save. Yeah. And the important thing is like only if you add these service tags, then only this particular Power Automate will be able to communicate with your logic apps. Okay, so let's go to the logic apps, and then what we'll do is like let's look at the workflow here. Yep, and then let's click on it, and then click on the run history here. And if you see here, we can see that the time is like 9:44 a.m. and this got executed at 9:43:18 a.m. That means like when we clicked on the Power BI for the Power Automate, we can see that the logic app is executed. Yeah. Now, if you see this, what we can see here is like we are basically calling this Databricks serving model, HDFC high price prediction. And if you scroll down, this is the input that we have given. Let's see if we are seeing the prediction. If you can see here, we are able to see the predictions here appropriately, which basically means like the entire workflow has really worked well. Just a recap. So what we have done is like, if we see here, we basically created the required control in the Power BI, which is basically like we created this visualization called Power Automate for Power BI here. Yeah. And then when we click on this, what is happening is like we basically call the Power Automate app that we have created, which in our case is JB Bank Logic app July 2025. And if you see here what it is basically doing, it is basically getting triggered when we click on the Power BI, and then we are posting an HTTP request here. And what it does is like it is basically posting to this particular URI, and this URI is present in your Logic app. Yep. If you see here, let's go back there and go to the designer, and if we look at the Logic app, what it is basically doing is like this particular URL, we are waiting for the request, and once the request is received, what it basically does is like it moves on to the control to the next one. And this particular step, what it basically does is like it is basically calling this particular Databricks serving endpoint, which is basically using the model called high model, which basically like predicts your stock price for a bank called HDFC Bank. Yeah. Now what is happening is like as soon as it this gets triggered, it basically gives the input that we have provided here, and then comes out with the required prediction. So in our case, what we can see here is like as far as the input that we have given, this one, what we are able to see is like we are getting a appropriate prediction of 2012 rupees. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.